Good morning, brothers. Craig James here from masculinebydesign.com. On Twitter, at Masculine Design. Give me a follow there. I want to talk to you this morning about being masculine. I get questions sometimes from guys who ask, is masculinity something we really have to design our lives around? That's the whole premise of Masculine by Design, is that, two things. One, we have been designed by Almighty God as men to be masculine. We are distinct from women. We have different characteristics, different propensities, different strengths that define our masculinity. Secondly, we must also design our lives around that transcendent truth that we have been created to live out a life of a man that is defined by those masculine characteristics. Now, the question of whether do we really have to be intentional about designing our lives to be masculine. Most men must design their lives around their masculinity if they are to live out their full potential as a man on this earth in modern times. I qualify that with in modern times because in times past that was not necessarily the case. When men were forced to produce, or they didn't eat, or they couldn't feed their families. When men were forced to be able to defend themselves from dangers, and they couldn't rely on the state to provide protection. When men grew up among other men, and they weren't squeezed out from male-only spaces. And men passed down the values of masculinity to their sons and to their sons' sons. That's not how it works today. Today we live in a society that calls us to consume at rampant rates. Consume, consume, consume. We are rarely called to produce in this world. Maybe by our employers, but as soon as we walk outside of the walls of the place of business, all we are bombarded with are messages about the things that we need to buy, TV shows that we need to watch, movies we need to watch. It's all about consumption, foods that we need to eat that are designed to be addictive, and they are toxic. These messages have produced an environment in which the natural default slide for a man today is not toward masculinity. It is away from it. While in years gone by, the default was much more aligned with a man's designed state by Almighty God to be masculine, to lead, to be strong, to be ready to defend, to produce and provide. That is not the way that society tends to produce for men today. The default for men today is emasculation. So yes, we must design our lives in such a way that we are fighting back against those outside forces that are influencing us every minute of every hour of every day. And if we are not intentional about fighting back against that, we will become an emasculated victim inside of a culture that does not value masculinity. A culture that calls masculinity toxic. It doesn't just covertly seek to make you a consumer, to make you weak, to make you acquiesce to all the feminine influences in society. It's not just covert. It is overt now. It is explicitly communicated to men from the time they are old enough to walk that they are toxic because they are masculine, because they are boys, because they have a penis. They are toxic. That is the message that men are given. They are raised predominantly by women in preschools and in the public school system. Most of them are growing up in homes without a father. Celebrities perpetuate the message. Companies like Gillette and others perpetuate the message. Unashamedly, they are not ashamed at all to call all men rapists and sexual assaulters. and men who just want whose goal is to just enact violence on the world without prejudice or without any kind of discernment. That is the environment that we are finding ourselves in today. So yes, we have to design our lives to be masculine. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, we do this all the time in all kinds of other areas in life. The natural slide is toward chaos. In this fallen world, the natural slide is toward chaos. It is toward self-destruction. And we have to fight back against that, and we do so on a number of different fronts. We do it physically, through self-discipline, controlling our diet, training our bodies. We do it mentally by controlling the things that we allow into our headspace, by not getting caught up in all of the whimsical fancies of a culture that shows increasing signs of insanity with every passing day. And we do it spiritually by training ourselves to not emotionally react to everything, by engaging in the scriptures, by learning what truth is, so that when counterfeits come into our midst, they're easy to recognize, they're easy to spot, and we can slaughter those wolves before they have a chance to infiltrate our minds and infiltrate our families. We have to design our lives around the masculine nature that we have been given, and we have been given for a purpose. Men today are not designing their lives around the masculine nature that they've been given. They're drifting through life. They are allowing all the outside influences to emasculate them. Porn, video games, sports, poor dietary choices, not being driven, not asserting themselves, not leading in the home, not leading themselves, not developing themselves in mind, body, and spirit. This is what we see playing out around us because that is the default. That is the chaotic slide that every man will go down if he is not intentional about fighting back against it. So for those of you who want to tell me that men don't need to design their lives in order to be masculine, it's just who they are, it's nonsense. It is who we are. We have those innate characteristics, but those characteristics will be dulled and they will become ineffective if we are not intentional about sharpening them each and every day. So I hope that clarifies things. If you want to come at me, make fun of me because I'm a man who's trying to live out my masculine nature and admonish my fellow man to do the same, I'm okay with that. But I need to speak my piece, to let you know where I come from. Because I don't take this call lightly. I don't take it lightly in my own life, and I don't take it lightly in what I do online, because it changes lives. Men are hurting. They're suffering in silent desperation because they are failing to live out their masculine nature. Because society has won the battle, at least temporarily. And I intend to fight back. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you share it on social media. We got to get this message out, guys. Like I said, there are too many men hurting, and these kinds of messages don't get shared. I don't know what it is. Probably because men are scared. They're scared to share these kinds of messages because of the way that it will reflect on them, because of the backlash they might receive at work or in the home. We have to share it. What are you afraid of? You're a man. Stand up for yourself. Share this kind of content so that other men who need it can reclaim their lives, reclaim their sense of masculine self. Be sure to subscribe so that you get notified when I produce new videos here. Check out the blog at masculinebydesign.com. Again, follow me on Twitter. And if you want to join a group of men who are unashamedly pursuing what it means to be masculine and holding their brothers accountable to doing the same, check out the Fraternity of Excellence at fraternityofexcellence.com. That is all I have today, men. Thank you for watching. Until next time, this is Craig James. I am out.